So in this lesson, we're going to look at different kinds of Japanese stab sewn binding. And this is a very simple way of joining together flat sheets of paper, and it gives a nice decorative look at the spine here where it's been stitched. What is important to remember is that you cannot see whatever is going on inside the stitching. So you need to leave a gutter, a bit of free space on your printed page, because that won't be seen. Just remember to make sure your image is to the side of that stitching. So we're going to look at the Yotsume Toji, the 4-hole stitch. This is the most basic, and from this lots of the other shapes develop. So then after that becomes the Koki Toji, or the noble stitch, where you can see it's the same 4-hole shapes, but then we have these added what I call Ys in the corner as reinforcement. And then an extension from the Koki Toji is the 𝗖𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗶𝘁𝘀 Toji, the hemp stitch. So again, the Ys are here in the corner, you can see, but we've also created these Ys in the middle of our U shapes. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to show you, the first one I'm going to show you is the Yotsume Toji, the 4-hole stitch. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to mark up where we're going to make our holes, and it needs to be an even amount of distance from the spine edge to here as it is from here to here. I find that 15 millimeters feels like the right amount of space, so it makes your life a lot easier if the height of your book can be divisible evenly by 15. So this is 9 centimeters or 90 millimeters, so divided by 15 evenly. So the first thing to do is to draw a line that is 15 millimeters away from one of the short edges of your top piece of paper, like that. And then I'm going to mark, so you can see the height of my book is 9 centimeters or 90 millimeters. I'm going to mark at 15 millimeter increments along my ruler on that line. So 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, finishing at 90. I then place my top page on top of my pile. So my pile of paper is already trimmed to be the same size. Once you have stitched this end, you cannot trim here or here or here. You can trim a little bit on the foredge, but it's good to get it right before you start. I'm going to bulldog clip either side to hold everything in position, and then I'm going to take my awl and go straight down where the mark is, picking it up when I've got through and pushing through, so I know that I've got a good hole all the way through. And you're going to repeat that for all of the marks. So I've now made holes all the way through, so I can hold it up to the light and check I can see all the way through. I'm going to thread my needle with some thread. You want to make sure you have enough thread so that you won't want to be adding more thread. This is too much, but I'd rather have more than not enough. I'm going to wax my thread. Thread my needle. Do the magic trick to keep the needle on the thread, which you can see in single section pamphlet binding. Okay, so I'm now going to open up to the center of the pages, and I'm going to take the needle and take it from the inside to the outside. And I'm going to clip that tail under the bulldog clip, like so, because I don't want to pull it through by accident. Now I'm going to go over the top and back through the same hole, trying not to pierce the thread. pull it tight. It's important with Japanese sewing to pull tight as you go along. It's very hard to pull up the tension once you've got to the end. So I've done all the way over here. I'm now going to go along here. Okay, so I've now gone over the top, along the bottom. I'm going to go over the top to form my U. Okay, now around the end, an L shape at the end. Okay, now we have to go this way. We only want to have one piece of thread at any one point. So I'm going to go, now I'm going in this direction. I've finished over here. I'm going to go along. Over, always pulling tight. Now you think, oh, I've got a gap here. I need to go back. But then you'd be stuck there. Don't worry about that. Leave that gap. Keep going in the same direction. So now I'm going to this one. Over the top. Don't worry about this gap. Keep going in the same direction. Keeping that tension. Okay. Now we're going to go around the end to complete that L. And you should, if it's been done correctly. So now I'm going to fill in here. I'm going to fill in here. And this is my last thread. But so I don't want to come all the way through to this side. I want to finish where I started. So I take off the bulldog clips. I open up the book. And I'm going to pass my needle from the outside here and come out in the middle here. Okay. Making sure you're happy with the tightness of your sewing. You're then going to tie a reef knot, which is right over left, pull tight, left over right, pull tight, trim those tails about 1 centimetre away from the knot, and then you can very cunningly, using the awl, just push the knot, those tails, back into where the stitching is. And then it's a mystery to everyone as to how you sewed the book. So it ends up looking like this. You can use your bone folder as well, just to compress the holes to ensure it's gripping your sewing and everything is tidy and looking smart and straight. That is Yotsume Toji, the 4-hole Japanese stab sewn stitch. I'm now going to show you how to do the asa no ha toji. It's just a slightly more complicated variation of the koki toji. I'll explain where you stop in order to achieve this one. And I'm just going to extend the demonstration to show you how to do this one. So we need to make the marks on the top sheet to know where we're going to make the holes for the sewing. So I'm going to make marks at 15 mil and at 7.5 mil, because that is halfway between 0 and 15. 15, 7.5, 15, 7.5. Join up those lines. And we're going to make marks along here. So the similar to the first one that we did, we're going to make a mark on the lower line, on the 15 mil line. We're going to make a mark at 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, finishing at 90. Then on the line above, we need to start in, so we make one mark at 7.5 millimeters here. I then move my ruler along. So I've moved it to 7.5. I then add in a mark 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. And that should, just double check, be 7.5 millimeters from the end. So again, stack up your sheets of paper, bulldog clip either side. And you're going to make your holes at the marks. I just want to pick it up and with my awl go through the pages to ensure that they're completely pierced. Obviously making sure that I don't pierce my fingers as well. So I now have all my holes pierced all the way through. I'm going to get my threaded needle with a good length of thread. I'm going to open up the inside and going the second one in, going from the inside to the outside. Clip your tail under the bulldog clip. So similar to before, we went over the top and all the way back round on yourself. Along here. I apologise for the sound of the scrabbling dog in the background. Over here. And around the end. So far, so familiar. Now, we need to form the Y shape in this corner. So I'm going to go up to the diagonal, to the centre hole. Over the top here. Around the end here. And finishing down into the diagonal. So then you've got both, all of the Y's covered on both sides. Now we need to form a Y. So if I was doing the Koki Toji, I would carry on back along here, I wouldn't have these holes here, 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 and here. I would just have gone all the way along here, forming the L at the end and the Y at the end, come back as before and finish there. But because we're doing the Asano Hatoji, we now need to form the Y in this area. So I'm going to go up to the diagonal. Over the top. I need to make sure that I fill in this diagonal. The thing is, once you start going that direction, it's hard to come back and fill in gaps that you've missed. Now, where am I going to go? The next one's got to be straight along the bottom here. I need to fill in this diagonal. And this diagonal. So these two are complete. Now we're going to head off in this direction. So I'm going to go along, over, I need to form a partial Y. Don't worry about this one because that will get filled in when we come back. So now I need to go up to here. Over the top. And it's tempting to go back to fill that in, but you shouldn't. You need to keep going in the same direction. This will get filled in on the way back. So keep going along, over, up to the diagonal, over, always pulling up the tension. Keep going in that direction. Along. Over. So again, up to the diagonal. Over the top. Can you see the pattern? You've got these partial Ys here, and you've got these gaps alternating here and here, and the same gaps here that you're going to fill in on the way back. You can actually remove the bulldog clips at this stage because they can get in the way a bit. So I've now got to here. I'm going to go around the end. Up to the diagonal. Over the top here. Around the end. And back down to this diagonal. So I've got a full Y in this corner. Now all you have to do is fill in the gaps. So I'm going to go along here. Now I've got to remember to fill in this gap now, because if I go that way, I'll have gone too far and I can't come back. So I'm going to go up to here. The diagonal there. Now along the bottom here. Up to the diagonal. Down here. Along the bottom. Up to the centre on the diagonal. And finishing, this is my last stitch here. So I need to open up the book, take my needle through the hole here and coming out in the center here. Tie the knot, right over left, left over right, trim off and tuck the knot away. So now you have 𝗖𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗶𝘁𝗀𝗹𝗲𝗺𝗺 the hemp stitch. Again, compress it with your bone folder. And we've made 2 Japanese stab sewn bindings.